I think about the future a lot, but not in the way that one might think, not in the way that is often how the future is thought about. I think about the future in terms of what's behind our thinking about the future. From where do we get this practice, be it a conscious practice or otherwise, to focus on the future? We're so future oriented. One day I will. When I get this, I will have that. When I become this, then this. We're very future oriented. We do all these things now for our future later, sometime in the unknown that hasn't arrived yet. It's true. We study hard to get into a school, to study hard to get the job, to afford the things, to then maybe live some great retirement later. It's this sort of, all of these stepping stones as if there's some destination later. And what I really realize, and it's come with time and it's really come with the nature of the work that I do, as well as I think just something innate in me. Something in me that's just, it's always been there. Always, a little big word, right? It seems to have always been there. Is this reality of now is all of the moments. It doesn't mean we can't have hopes and dreams, right? And plan a vacation later or plan to do some things and look forward to those things. Yes, of course. But when we forsake living our lives now, putting everything off for some time later, that's the thing, because I realize that later doesn't always come around. Many people do not see later. Many people do not arrive at that destination, that final place that they were hoping for. Oh, I saved all of my money because I planned to travel the world, but now I'm unable because maybe my body isn't the same. Maybe something else has happened. And so it brings me to the truth that now really is all we have. And when we forget that, or we act as if it isn't so because, everyone says, now is all you have, but there's tomorrow. When we forget it, and then something happens and we're brought to this stark reality that, wow, now is really all that I have because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We resist that. It becomes harder for us because we never saw the possibility of tomorrow not being. My partner sent a message to me this morning, and we often talk about impermanence, life and death, all of those things. It's sort of integrated in our connection and conversation. And she said something like, everyone thinks about the future, but they don't think about death as being in your future. That's real. Death is in your future and mine, but we don't plan for it. We're surprised by it. We begrudge it, like, how dare you show up in my realm and my world? As if we didn't know that death is a part of our future. And I think this isn't a morbid thing. It's a reality thing. You have a baby, you plan for it in terms of, you have to have a car seat. So you get that car seat, right? You take your little bag to the hospital. All of those things, you plan for it, or you scramble in the moment. Well, that's harder. But, sometimes people scramble in the moment. Things happen. It is what it is. We don't plan for our future deaths. Some people do, but most of us don't. Particularly in the United States of America. It's still a taboo. Don't talk about that because you might call it forth. Death does not require that we call it forth in order for it to arrive. It will arrive when it comes up. That's just how it goes. We can't control that. We often, we need to control things. The mind is masterful at driving us crazy, trying to figure it out and put all of the pieces of the puzzle together, and it can't. So it scrambles and it becomes anxious and all of these things. And we lose sort of our equilibrium and our footing in the moment. But what if we gave it thought? What if we actually lived our present moments having our death in mind? Would we live better, fully, more awake, aware? Really spending our time on what means and matters the most, not dilly-dallying in our lives, not sort of walking through the days of our lives asleep. Would we become more awake? That way, when the future reality of our death comes a-knocking, we can kind of go, wow, I knew you'd come one day. Wish you'd come later, but here we are. How do I meet that in the same way that we meet births? With a welcoming. That might sound, why would I welcome death? Death is a part of life's cycle. It holds many unknowns and mysteries. And why would you not welcome a part of your life? Your dying is a part of your life. My dying is a part of my life. It doesn't mean that those who remain won't be sad, or, oh, just get over it because we all die. No, we feel deeply. And when we know that it's inevitable, maybe we suffer a little less because we're not attached to trying to stay alive. We're not fighting it. Animals don't fight it. They don't have our human consciousness where they're worried and concerned and thinking the thoughts and trying to hold on. They're in tune with their bodies. And so typically they go somewhere and lie down. And they just go into that oneness. How would we be if we had a little bit of that? Some people do. Some people are so awake and present with that they do meet it in that way. And I know because I've worked with them and I've seen it. And many kick and scream and begrudge. And the destination is still the same, whether we go in peace or we go suffering. Neither one shifts the outcome, but it does shift the moment for that person and how they're being and becoming. And it shifts what other people see and feel and experience, be it peace and, oh my goodness, that was so devastatingly beautiful, deeply sad and, oh my goodness, or traumatic, it was terrible. Many things, all things exist. Today on the mat, I'm thinking about returning again and again to the present and living this fully, knowing one day it will end. So alongside planning great things for the future, may we also plan for the future of our deaths. And along the way of those plans, may we not forsake living fully now, because now is what we have. It really is all we have. If you wake up tomorrow, fabulous. Gratitude for another day. But let us not be fooled into thinking it really is a guarantee. It might be likely, highly likely, but a guarantee, we can't take things for granted. We can't take time and breath and being for granted. You could go to bed tonight the way that you are and wake up with some aspect of your body not functioning the same. It happens. Things happen in an instant. People are like, oh, they were just walking a mile or 3 miles. Now they can't get out of bed. What happened? I don't know. Exactly. We don't know. But what we do know is that we're right here, right now. I know that I am sitting here right now. And after this moment, I have some moments ahead of me to do some things today. That's what I know right now. I hope that tomorrow I'm still here because there are some things that I have in mind to share and do with my partner tomorrow. And I'm also very present and aware that life shifts in an instant. Accidents happen in an instant. Change is inevitable. And that isn't to say that, oh, I would just meet every moment with, oh, well, you know, I'm awake and attuned to that. No, I'm human. But it's helpful to have an awareness. Not that you want to have to deal with the reality of it, but it is important to have a level of awareness because it's helpful, you know, to have some type of practice, some type of spiritual practice, some type of consciousness or mindset to help us navigate hard things. That's helpful. Otherwise, we might be flailing around, making matters worse because we can't feel the ground underfoot. So as we go about the days of our lives, may we do so moment by moment, appreciative, grateful, awake, not taking for granted any day that has not arrived yet, but seeing it truly as a gift, even if it presents with difficulties. Because we know that death is in our future. It's inevitable. It is promised. And right now, we're in the now of our lives. May we be awake to live the now fully.